welcome to 1 Million Cups Madison. Welcome also to the beginning of Women-Owned Business Month here. We've decided to make November kind of a focus. So today's presenter, Doyenne, is going to be a great way to kick off Women-Owned Business Month. First, I guess I'd like to thank our sponsors. As usual, Starting Block, Dream Bank, and Field 59 providing video today. I am, again, the sole organizer of the day. That'll change hopefully next week. A couple of announcements this week. First, on November 21st, the day before Thanksgiving, we will not be meeting. So we've got next week, the 14th, as usual, and then we'll pick up right after the holiday. Speaking of right after the holiday, the time will be changing as of the 28th of November. Instead of starting at 8 a.m., we're going to start at 8:30. So thank you to everybody who contributed their input to our recent survey. It's a pretty clear result. We were really kind of losing nobody in terms of possible attendance and hopefully making it a little bit easier for more people to show up at that 8:30 time. The third announcement is tomorrow is Culture Community at the Madison Club at, Leah, do you know what time?
8 o'clock.
At 8 o'clock.
Well, they're no longer aligned.
So yes, that's it for announcements. As I mentioned last week, as we go around and do introductions here in just a minute, if you have announcements of interest to the group, please feel free to share them. We really want to make that sort of unit or multi-directional feedback part of our gathering here. So I will kick off introductions. My name is Josh Helling. I'm an entrepreneur. My background is in software product development, and I consult with startups and growing companies on technology and product strategy.
Kurt Peterson, co-founder of 32 Auctions, platform for hosting and managing silent auction fundraisers.
Steve Claude, the other co-founder of 32 Auctions.
I'm Amy Gannon. I'm co-founder of Doyenne.
My name's Trezzy. I'm a CTO services consultant.
My name is Chandra Miller-Feenan. I run Starting Block Madison. I usually do have announcements. The big one is this week on Monday we launched a application process for social impact entrepreneurs to win free space at Starting Block Madison. The information is up on our website, startingblockmadison.org. So if you have a social entrepreneurship project team, it doesn't have to be incorporated yet to be part of the project, but the eligibility, the requirements are up at Starting Block. Get 6 free months, and there will be wraparound programming and support for that as well. So that's my big announcement.
And I'm Lisa Allgood. I run a nonprofit technology consultancy, and here in Madison I also am the executive director for Collaboration for Good, that has 2 primary focuses: capacity building for the nonprofit and social goods sector, and creating an ecosystem for social entrepreneurs.
My name is Zach Jensen. I'm looking for more opportunities to get involved in the startup community. I'm in the marketing, sales, operations side of things.
I'm James Caveman. I have Calls and Call, a shared receptionist service, as well as drawing customers for business coaching.
Hi, I'm Prashant Patel, and I'm a friend of the community.
Good morning, Heather Euling. I'm a commercial real estate broker with an emphasis in retail.
Good morning. I'm Joe Kelscher, and I'm a recent MPH graduate from UW Madison, and have a strong interest in getting connected in entrepreneurship.
Dan LaCloche, I'm a content marketing consultant and also a lifestyle brand.
Kaylee, I teach programming at Madison College, and I am working on my own software business as well.
Hi, I'm Kristen Insidy. I'm the Chief Operating Officer of the Badger and Girl Scout Council. I'm going to talk for just a couple minutes, but I'm sure all of you know about the Cookie Program. So we develop future entrepreneurs, and so I'm excited to be here today. So
I'm Jay Martin from Martin Product Design for startup in Madison that does product design at the moment. And I just have a comment. Josh, are you going to grow a beard back, or what's the...
I think probably. So there was a Halloween costume that was just incompatible with the beard, and so...
Sacrifices lifestyle choices.
Sorry?
That was a big change.
What are you going to do? It's just hair. But yes.
I'm Jai Pillai. I work at Upraise. It's a fundraising platform for nonprofits.
I'm Dan Rowe. I own a small consulting firm. I'm a solopreneur at Rowe & Co. I help provide strategic COO services just help companies who are kind of stalled out and trying to get to the next level. I do revenue strategy, operational efficiency, and employee experience.
I'm Leah Rowe, and among many things, I'm now an entrepreneur, and I'm actually joining Dan, and so we are spearheading this Row and Co thing. Really excited to talk to y'all about it.
And this is Betty.
Oh, this is Betty. First time at 1 million cups, post-woo.
I'm Daniel Guerrero, former founder of Talentua AI recruiting company in Houston, Texas, and now currently a project manager at Covance and also a modeling mentor.
I am Sid Ahmed, and I'm not an entrepreneur yet. I'm an entrepreneur. This is my first time here, trying to learn some things. I have some ideas in application developments.
Well, thank you, everybody. As Kristen mentioned, before we get into the main presentation today, we're going to have a quick sort of overview from her on the Girl Scouts and their work with entrepreneurship.
Perfect, thanks. Won't be too long, just a couple minutes. So how many of you bought Girl Scout cookies last year? Okay, well hopefully you will this year, for those of you who didn't buy last year. But the Girl Scout cookie program is infamous for obviously the Thin Mint cookie, which is the #2 selling. We sell more Thin Mint cookies in a 6-month period than Oreo sells all year long. Did you know that? Wow. I know, nationwide. So it's remarkable. And it's the girls. So the girls build their own small business behind the cookie program. And so a lot of people think about Girl Scouts really just about the cookie program, but what you're learning in the cookie program is the financial literacy, the goal setting, how to run a small business, how to talk to people you don't know, essentially all of the things that you have to do when you're an entrepreneur and you start your own business. And so I had met Diana through a different thing, and she told me that this was Women-Owned Business Month, and she thought it'd be a great opportunity for us to come share a little bit about Girl Scouts, and not too long. But so according to a recent study, 80% of women business owners were once Girl Scouts. So the program, which has been the Girl Scout program, has been around for more than 106 years, and that is a remarkable statistic. So as you're thinking about your business and how you can get involved with nonprofit community, the Girl Scout program is an excellent way for you to do that. And you don't have to be a woman to be a troop leader. Anybody can be a troop leader. And in fact, we would love for more people to become troop leaders. We also have 2 really exciting events coming up this year. One of them is called Boss Girls, which is a virtual program that progresses for girls who want to start their own business, take the cookie program to the next level, not necessarily to sell cookies, but if they have an idea, and they will build their business idea, and then we'll have pitch parties at the end of the year. And so we're looking for mentors who would want to mentor the girls in that process. And then we also have an annual conference called Girlpreneurs that is for 6th through 8th graders. And their idea is to spend time with people who have founded their own business and started things going. And so it's another opportunity to engage and mentor girls. So if you're at all interested in getting involved with these things, I have flyers and I can stick them on that back table over there. Or if you want to learn more about Girl Scouting and how to get yourself or a girl in your life involved, I am more than happy to help you get connected with that. So with that, I hope that you all buy cookies this year and get involved. So thanks. Thanks so much.
Get this up and going again. Possibly. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
My name is Amy Gannon. I'm a co-founder of Doyenne. My co-founder, some of you may have met her before. Her name is Heather Wentler. She and I met 6 years ago, and separately we have been going to event after entrepreneurial event after event, and really finding only a few women in the room, and often the same women. We would see presenters, it was always the same women presenting. It was like there were 5 vetted women that were acceptable to put on stage. They were lovely women, But it got to the point where I could do your bio and I could impersonate you. We can have a whole Saturday Night Live. So in particular, we met, we were at an event with 125 people, only 10 women in the room, including the two of us. So we were griping about, I could choose some other words, but we were griping about it. Like, it's just frustrating. Like, we know there are women entrepreneurs, we want to meet those women entrepreneurs, we want to collaborate with those women entrepreneurs, we just can't find them. So I tell this story because it's kind of indicative of how Heather and I are. We went around to every woman in the room. Isn't it crazy that there aren't more women here? Do you want to meet in the hallway and talk about it? So we met in the hallway at this event, and the women said, yeah, we want to meet more women who want to be entrepreneurs or are entrepreneurs too. So Heather and I talked about it, and we said, let's launch something. We met with other people in the ecosystem to say, we're thinking about this, what do you think? And so we decided to launch something. When we first, that was 6 years ago, when we first launched, we didn't really know what Doyenne, we didn't know what Doyenne was going to be, but we had two goals in mind. Create events and activities where when women come, they know they're going to meet other women entrepreneurs. Like, that's a guarantee. And to eliminate the excuse, and I call it an excuse, that we didn't have any women speakers because we didn't know any. So we wanted to say, all you have to do is email me and I will find them for you. Binders full of them. So we launched. Doyenne is a French word. It means the most senior or prominent woman in her field. We struggled for a while on a name. What's the name? We didn't want to be another Women in Business because there's a million of those, right? Word of the day, calendar. I said, the universe sometimes provides. And so I said, what about this? And I said, let's take it, let's do it. So it's 6 years later, and our mission, we've evolved, we've experimented. Let's see. Maybe you'll have to stare at that slide for the whole time. It's kind of a nice slide, right? Okay. I don't know why my computer's not working. So our mission as an organization is to build ecosystems where women entrepreneurs from all backgrounds can really thrive. So everything we do says what needs to be in place for that to be a true statement in any community, and how are we helping to put those puzzle pieces in place. So right now we have 4 main areas, strategic goals, that we think are part of the puzzle to make a community where women entrepreneurs can thrive. So number 1 is build an army of women entrepreneurs with strong skill sets that they know how. For us, entrepreneurial skill sets, slightly different from business skill sets, is I know how to take this seed of a crazy ass idea, whatever it is, and bring it to fruition. And those include business skills, but there's an entrepreneurial skill set of how do you take nothing and create something. And so we provide a lot of professional development around that. So how do you get your skills? We firmly believe you're not born an entrepreneur. You actually learn by doing, like most things in life. So we have a founder series. 10 women-led businesses go through a year-long program. And it's a combination of one-on-one coaching with a mentor, consistent mentor over the year. Peer coaching, so you have a network of 10 that you're connecting with throughout the year to do peer coaching. And then we do workshops, 5 workshops through that year that are based on a particular topic. So how do you do financial projections, and where am I getting hung up on my finances? So at those workshops, we have somebody do a 101. Well, first of all, we have a conversation about, okay, you have every one of you has a record playing in your head about how you relate to money, for example, or technology, or the word sales. We have emotions around that, we have thoughts around that, so we surface those, because if we don't talk about those, it doesn't matter what somebody says. If they have debt is bad, my dad said never owe anybody any money, I don't care about, I can talk about numbers all the time, all day long, and you're not going to hear it because that's what's playing in your head, right? So we surface those, what are those record players, like the things that are in your mind about how to, if you have a connotation of sales as, when I say sales, you go, ooh, because you think the sort of stereotype of used car salesman. You're not going to listen to me. So we have to surface what is playing there. And then we do a 101, that's sort of let's get all using the same vocabulary. And it's meant to be 30 minutes conversation about what are the basic principles of what we're talking about today. And then we bring in, and that's an external expert, and then we bring in experts from the community to break down into small groups. So it'll be one expert and two entrepreneurs. So they get coached on what their particular business, what it means for them. Because so often you go to events and it's a generic panel presenting, right? And you're trying to figure out, well, how does that apply to me? Trying to take notes, and then you go home and nothing happens. So we really want to give them that. So that's a year-long series. 4 times a year here in Madison, we do a 2.5-day strategic planning retreats. So we bring 10 women-led businesses, and we work with them for 2.5 days to say, where do you want to be 3 to 5 years from now? What are the major milestones that are going to head you in that direction? And then let's talk about a 6 to 12 month action plan. Because y'all, you can write a to-do list all day long. I don't have a problem making a to-do list. Making sure the things on my to-do list are the things that are going to get me where I want to be in 5 years. Now that's a challenge, right? So we want the action items to be strategic and intentional, that what I'm doing today and what I'm prioritizing today can get me where I need to go. And those are really transformational events, and we bring in experts from the community to coach, and it really works well. We do a lot of one-on-one coaching, and we train local entrepreneurs to be coaches as well. So I've been signed up. This is not good. Why did it sign me up? So I'm just gonna go with it. I've been signed out of something I was signed into. Oh, there we go. Google.
It's kicking you out of all your tabs.
They're just, you know, what's my password? Because I'm always. Let's see if this works. Okay, so we do professional development. The second thing, remember our mission is how do you build ecosystems where women entrepreneurs can thrive. I always joke that if a community holds up as the ideal entrepreneur, the 22-year-old white dude in skinny jeans and a hoodie who coded something in his dorm room, women aren't going to thrive in that community. And there's nothing wrong with this category of entrepreneurship. That's not what I'm saying here. Actually, we love that version of entrepreneurship. The problem for them and for everyone else is when we hold it up as ideal. So when a community can hold up, entrepreneurship has a whole range of people doing it and a whole range of types of businesses, then people can thrive and it can be an inclusive community. So we do showcase events where we highlight our women entrepreneurs, our members, and we try to do that in such a way that it shows a range of different stages of business, different types of business, and different lived experiences being brought to that. We have our 5x5x5, and some of you have been there, 5 women we do this during Forward Fest in August. 5 women entrepreneurs, each get 5 minutes. Somebody goes home with $5 grand that morning. And we also, it's not listed here, do monthly Connect meetings. Chandra's been our Connect guru woman, helping us coordinate those over the years. And that we showcase a member, and we invite her to tell her unvarnished story. So not the pitch, not the polished up, shined up, I was brilliant and did everything right. more of the, I'm going to toot my horn on the things I did well, and I'm going to, as women, toot it without reservation or worry about what it's like to brag about myself. And I'm just going to tell you the shit I fucked up. Like, sorry, I swear way too much, but really that's what it's like, you know? And so the entrepreneurial journey is, there's always a shit show behind the scenes. No matter how well you're doing, it's chaos behind the scenes. So we invite women to share that. And the amazing thing is, the women in the audience are like, oh, I'm all fired up. I said, did you just hear how hard this is? Like, it's really hard. Yes, I'm ready to go. What do I do next? So we do those to keep putting different versions of entrepreneurship in front of people so that we have a breadth, the community holds up a breadth of entrepreneurship. The third thing, if women are going to thrive in an ecosystem, there needs to be money going to women-led businesses. And we all know the stats about certainly angel investors and venture capital not going to women-led businesses or even businesses with a woman on the team. So we raised an evergreen fund. We raised just over $1 million. And we're in the midst of dispersing that. The funds come from, I'll show you if I can get the slide to move. The funds come from city money, state money, foundation money, and private donor dollars. And it's an evergreen fund, so all the dollars we put out, whatever comes back goes into the bucket. And when the bucket fills up again, we send it out. So the fund is for women and entrepreneurs of color. And so when people are paying back their loan, or people, I thought it was my computer. I give up. So when people pay back, or when they have an exit and we get as shareholders money, they get to know that those dollars are going to support more startups. So it's really a pay it forward kind of model. In theory, we'll see what kind of investments and what kind of payback we get, but that's theoretically how it works. At this point, we're doing it in forms of grants, loans, and equity investments. We really believe in $5,000 grants can be really strategic for businesses. We're very early in their process. So we're likely going to be first money in after maybe friends and family, or maybe even before, because many entrepreneurs don't have friends and family. Right? That's not even an option for many entrepreneurs. So the $5,000 grants, actually we get you pulled in. It's almost a carrot in a way, right? Because you then go into the accelerator. So we have a year-long accelerator program. It's very doable. It's not like your traditional accelerator where you drop everything. That version works for some people, not everyone. So we really stay a touch point with you through coaching and workshops, and they do a retreat through 12 months. So really 5K for some people is huge. It's the first money that's official money coming in, and they get roped into an accelerator, which many of them value more than the 5K. So to date, we've done 20 grants. Our portfolio has, and you can go on our website and see the companies that we put money into. We're finalizing our third equity investment, and we haven't done any loans yet, but we have some of our grant people. We actually said, I think you need more than 5,000, so let's start with 5,000, and let's come back. And one of the things you'll find with women entrepreneurs is they are very on top of the money. I want to know exactly what I'm going to do with that money. I don't want any more money than I need, for better or worse. I want to have a plan, and I'm not going to take in dollars that I can't deploy really efficiently. And the research shows that women entrepreneurs do more with less than their male counterparts. They're very capital efficient. So I want to pop up for a minute, back up here to our fourth. So the other thing, just to add on to that, our Evergreen Fund was really our starter fund. It was, let's see what happens, let's dip our toe into this space. We're actually looking at other ways of getting dollars to women-led businesses. And one of the things on the horizon for Doyenne is really to think about, if we think about an ecosystem where women thrive, we need an ecosystem where there are women investors. And so how do we grow the investor pool where women are deploying their dollars, not just as philanthropists, but as investors in businesses and in the economy? So there's some national organizations we're looking at. So that's sort of on the two-year horizon that maybe we partner with them. And I'll explain why in a second. So the fourth thing is, so we have had this experience that there's the ecosystem and then there's the ladies thing over here. Right? No. That's not acceptable. That's not an ecosystem where women, entrepreneurs can thrive. Women are the ecosystem. They're not a side thing. And so when we think about, it's this kind of thing, I hate this phrase and I'll tell you, women and people of color are welcome. Well, if it was my damn house, you wouldn't welcome me to my own house, right? Like even the mindset that you're welcome in our home and on our terms. Doyenne says, no, the ecosystem is right where we are, and women are the builders, designers, and benefactors of the ecosystem, not something on the side. So we work really hard to be present in the ecosystem, to collaborate, to serve on boards and organizing committees. When we first talked to a few people in Madison about launching Doyenne, they said, oh, you're going to take away all the women from our events. And I said, well, first of all, you don't have any women at your events. So there's no, I'm it. So there's no taking away the women from your events. So let's just like be real here. And I said, we're actually going to bring women to your events. A Doyenne presence in a city means that women have it's an access point in to a broader ecosystem. It's the door that opens and says, okay, come on. So we've been on Forward Fest organizing committees. I work with Alnisa on the Social Good Accelerator, Madison Social Good Accelerator. Heather's been on Startup Week, organizing committee on, she goes on the Connector up in Fox Valley for that. And so, our Doyenne members, we're a member-based organization, we have about 225 members here in Madison, are on all kinds of committees. So when you look at the difference, we launched at Forward Fest in 2012. It was 90% men, 10% women. I don't know if any of you went to Forward Fest last year, but we're approaching parity, not only in the attendance, but in the presenters, facilitators, organizers of events, topics of events. So we've had an impact in that sense that women are now, Forward Fest isn't their thing, it's ours. What do we want at Forward Fest? Along with our male partners, but we're not outsiders and welcome in that house. We're builders of the house and we own it. And so that's really what collaboration means for us. How do we be center of the ecosystem? We're here in starting block and work with Chandra and all the folks here to say, this is a space for men and women to be in, and it's our house. There should be a song. It took a minute, right, John? Okay, so that's what we do in Madison. We are now looking at a regional and later a national, our vision for the future. So we started programming in Milwaukee this year. We are making our partnerships up in Fox Valley. We're not exactly sure where what that's going to look like. We're waiting for them to tell us what Doyenne there should look like, but we'll be doing programming up in Fox Valley in 2019. And then those are our two pilot cities that over the next 12 to 18 months getting clarity on what are we learning from that process. So they're helping us design. And our real goal is by the end of 2020, we'll start accepting applications from cities across the country that want to have a Doyenne presence in their city. And our vision for it now of how we want to run it is kind of like an accelerator for Doyenne ecosystem builders. So they would need to do a certain set of things to be eligible for the cohort. have 8 to 10 women, have raised a certain amount of dollars to fund the programming, X, Y, these things. And so we'll have 40 to 50 women in 5 cities working over 12 months to launch Doyenne. And so it really becomes a national network of ecosystem builders, and the entrepreneurs in Madison will have access to the entrepreneurs in Tampa, will have access to the entrepreneurs in wherever. And we don't have cities in mind right now. We think it's likely going to be 2nd or 3rd tier cities. We're not really going after the LA, San Francisco's of the world. And so the national model begins to, right now we have women in many cities trying to figure out what do we do in our ecosystem. I'm part of a national network. There's about 80 of us who meet twice a year who are ecosystem builders in cities across the country. And many of the women I've met there, one woman was saying, I have a whole group of women we keep meeting, but we're just not sure what to do. We want to do stuff, but we meet, talk about the issues, talk about what needs to happen, and stuff doesn't happen. So can you give me the roadmap? And so I can give you the roadmap, right? I can get that awesome group of women who want to do something, hit the ground running. I can give you that. And then it becomes not these separate pockets, but a whole national organization saying we can uplift every city, and everybody benefits in the city when women entrepreneurs are a thriving part of that economy. So that's our longer term vision of where we're headed for Doyenne. It is terra thrilling because what are all the things we have to put in place for a national brand? What are all the toolkits that we need? We're relaunching our website to be a platform that will have a learning management system on it. So there's a lot of exciting things going on. Some days the emphasis is on a lot, and most days it's on exciting. So that is Doyenne. I think I'm okay on time for Q&A.
We are right at 9, so we're going to have to keep Q&A relatively short today.
Sorry.
No, that's great. That was awesome. So, first, thank you.
Well, I was just going to ask, what business did you have initially that triggered you joining the other entrepreneurs?
So I did not have a business. I was a faculty member. All my research, all my PhD work is on the intersection of human behavior, diversity, and entrepreneurship. So I've been working with entrepreneurs, now it's close to 15 years, and I taught entrepreneurship. I was on faculty at the School of Business at Edgewood College. I moved here from Boston. I got my doctorate at Boston University, my MBA at Boston College. And even in that work, kept seeing that entrepreneurs really needed some support. I would interview them, and I'd have to bring a tissue box, to be honest with you, because they would just, it would be an honest setting, because they don't have to impress me, and And so I had many years of watching that happen, and then I'm just engaged in the entrepreneurial community. And so for me, that was my launching piece there. So I left Edgewood to go into our startup here a year ago, about 18 months ago. But I was on faculty and the interim dean for 2 years trying to build the whole innovation curriculum there. So, but I really figured out the academic setting is not a good fit for me. I say, I move fast, I make decisions, and I fire assholes. None of that happens on an academic campus. So, time for you to go to the next chapter. It's all good, but. But my co-founder had, we were both actually trained as educators, which you can see infused in the approach that we say to grow entrepreneurs. She had been trained as a middle school. She was teaching in the Madison public schools, I think it was about 5 years, and getting more and more frustrated, not for unsimilar reasons, but she left that and launched Fractal, which is STEAM, science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. Is that right? Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. I haven't said it in a while. I used to say it a lot, so that was enrichment programs for youth, where she would say, I understand what the curriculum is, but I can design programming that complements that, that's very hands-on, that takes science and math and makes it accessible and fun, which she wasn't allowed, given all the constraints teachers have. So she launched that, and she was running that at the same time we were running Doyenne, and Doyenne just is growing, and so Fractal is on hiatus right now. And at this point, I've worked with, I always joke, I work with the whole range of entrepreneurs. From I use goat's milk to make soap, to I do DNA sequencing to make sure you don't have microbes in your water when you make your beer, and apps for this, and the whole range. At its core, some of the same questions have to be answered, right, regardless of the business. So anyway.
I have a couple thoughts. I'll actually come after so I'll hold everyone up. But the first one was I'm really impressed by the business model you've chosen here, the financial model, where you're reaching out to these entrepreneurs, you're getting some part of their business back, but it's going to support future business. That's phenomenal. I really appreciate that. So thank you for having that very forward-thinking sort of social model of financing. And that actually gave me an idea. If you haven't considered this already, I feel like Doyenne might be a great organization to become a certified B Corp. And I think that would actually be really nice as something you can market on your platform as you expand to say, okay, we did our thing, we have initially approved our financing, and also we got our certification as a certified B Corp for promoting social good. Come work with us, and just another thing to help market yourself as you expand.
Yeah, we have thought about that. We have it kind of on wait and see of our sense right now, right or wrong, is it's pretty complicated, but it will get less complicated after we get over this hurdle. So we might not be first adopters, but maybe second adopters when they figure it out. But you're totally right. I agree with you.
Maybe one more question, just so we don't hold people too late.
Sorry, first of all, Amy, well done. 2 swear words, that's probably a record for...
keeping it to 2.
So I applaud you for that.
It's only 9 a.m.
I think that's a million cups first.
So it's a record on both ends. But
for growth.
Part of the Million Cups mantra is make an ask of the community. And so what's the Doyenne ask to us?
Yeah, so Doyenne asked if there are women entrepreneurs that could benefit. And one of the ways we do this model is it's a give and receive. So the ecosystem, what do you put into the ecosystem and what do you get out of it? And we're very fluid, like in one day I could be a mentor and the next day I could be the mentee, right? Because we all bring it. So if you know people, in particular women entrepreneurs, but even other entrepreneurs that want to be involved in supporting the growth of women entrepreneurs, get them connected to me. We are a membership model, so we have 225, it's $150 a year, and it gets you access to, we try to keep all that programming at a reduced rate because entrepreneurs don't have a lot of cash, right? So $150 a year. Yeah, it's going to go up, but I can't tell you anything yet. It has to. But anyway, so that's one thing. And in Milwaukee, we're getting up and going in Milwaukee. So if you know women entrepreneurs who want to be part of the movement in Milwaukee, get those to me. We are a nonprofit and a component to keeping access to our programming at a reduced cost. We do have to fund through sponsorships and donors. So if you know of people who'd be interested in collaborating with Doyenne on that, let us know. And if you know people who have done a national model where they've had multiple locations in cities, we're not doing franchise, it'll always just be one entity with decentralized staff in each of the cities. So they will work for Doyenne, but they'll be located in their home city. So if you know of people who have done that and built that and could give us some advice on ways to approach that, that would be super duper helpful. Do we need anything else, ladies? And we have two, so I love our where did our Girl Scouts lady go? So growing the entrepreneurs from Girl Scouts, one of the things we're doing, and I didn't mention it here, is we have interns, mostly from UW, and they are obsessed. Like, there's got to be a Doyenne campus chapter. So we gave them that as their little startup project, right? Like, what does a campus chapter look like? And so down the road, every city will have the local college or university will have a campus chapter. And the goal of the campus chapter is to take women who are interested in entrepreneurship who are students and place them as interns in women-led startups. It's a developmental opportunity both for the startup because they'll have to go through a class. How are you going to use an intern? What's the job? I come from an academic. You got to have a good internship for my students, right? So it's got to be mutually beneficial. But research shows that women and men in their interest in entrepreneurship when they enter college, men stay level and women drop. Something's happening in the campus experience that's causing women to feel less interested or less excited or feel like entrepreneurship is less of an opportunity for them. So we have the Girl Scouts, the campus piece. I don't know, we have moms starting with our little baby ones back here. But finding that pipeline all the way through and partnering with them, so I don't know why I'm on that, but anyway. If you know women on campus who want to do it, I can get them in touch with our young ladies who are rock star. And I tell my husband, this is last, I promise. Tell my husband, if talking were an Olympic sport, I'm a silver, if not a contender for the gold medal. So if we don't stop me, I will just keep going. So I'm going to stop.
Well, let's award the gold.